Hi everyone, my name is Marco. I am 25 years old. I am from Mexico. I currently live in Mexico City. And right now I am studying Chinese full time. I graduated university with a degree in international studies and a concentration in China. And I'm hoping to do a master's degree in China sometime soon. So I think the LTL online classes are the next best thing to being physically in China studying Chinese. So right now, I wish I could be there. I wish I could be in Shanghai or in Beijing or somewhere in China studying full time at a university, but that's currently not possible. LTL is definitely the next best thing out there. I really appreciate having the chance to speak with not only like a live Chinese person whose native language is Chinese, but a certified teacher who will be able to guide me through the process of learning Chinese. I decided to sign up for classes with LTL because I've been trying to study Chinese on my own for quite some time. I have a bunch of textbooks and I try to, use all the different apps on my phone and on my tablet. But at some point I decided that I needed to be in school, be it online or in person. And when I looked at the different options online, most schools had very rigid terms, like it was either a semester system or a quarter system or something along those lines. So the dates didn't really align with what I wanted to do, which was get started right away. And LTL was one of the few, if not the only school I found where you could just hit the ground running, right? They had courses available and you could sign up and take your class that same day if you wanted. So that's why I decided to go with LTL. So I originally signed up for Flexi Classes with LTL. I started taking some classes in the HSK2 series, and the flexibility of being able to take classes 24/7 was truly amazing. I was able to take classes in the morning, in the evenings, on the weekends, whenever it best suited my schedule. But I eventually decided to transition to a full course as opposed to doing, strictly flexi classes because I really wanted the continuity. As I mentioned before, I'm studying Chinese full time. So right now I can't afford to take 2 hours of every morning and dedicate them to my Chinese classes. And I started doing that last week. So this is my second week taking a full course, and the experience has been fantastic. It's just like being in school in a class. You have the same teacher for every class. The teacher gets to know you really well. They get to know your strengths, your weaknesses. You follow a curriculum in order, which is really great because you get to practice what you learned, right? So I'll study something one day and then the next day we'll review it. And so I don't forget it. And the vocabulary builds on top of each other. So it works really, really well. So all of my teachers at LTL have been fantastic so far. The classes are always interesting because you get to talk about different topics, not just what's in the class, but you get to have conversations with your teachers, and they get to tell you what life is like in China. So they get to tell you things that you wouldn't really find in a textbook. For example, the other day, one of my teachers corrected me because I said something that I had learned in my textbook, and she just laughed and she said, "No, don't say that. That's something that like a little girl would say. It would be weird if you said that out loud." So, we laughed about it. And that's really the value behind having a certified teacher who lives in China or who was raised in China, because they get to tell you that kind of stuff that you won't really learn in a textbook. So yeah, my experience with the teachers so far has been phenomenal. So I'm not exaggerating when I say that my Chinese has improved by 1,000%. Like it's crazy how much it's improved since I started only a few months ago, because the great thing about having classes, online classes at LTL, is that you get to practice your Chinese with a certified teacher, in my case, on a daily basis. And that is invaluable. Since I can't be in China right now, this is really the next best thing that I can do to improve my Chinese. So every day I'm forced to work on my listening skills, to work on my speaking skills, to incorporate the grammar structures that I've learned on in my textbooks. I get to use all of that with a certified instructor who can correct me, correct my tones, and that's just the best thing that you can do when you're learning a language. to actually use it. So taking online classes at LTL is the most flexible thing in the world. They call it Flexi Classes for a reason. It's so flexible, and you can really do whatever you want when it comes to classes. You can take classes in the morning, at night, on the weekends, whenever. And the booking system is fantastic. Booking classes is seamless. You can cancel, I think, up to 72 hours in advance, and you'll get the credit back, so you won't waste your money. So what I like to do when I was taking Flexi Classes was every Friday, I would book all of my classes for the following week. And as the days went on, if something came up, if I needed to go to the dentist or, if an appointment came up, I could always cancel the classes ahead of time and I would get my credit back and I could always reschedule. Now that I'm taking a fixed course, even though I have all of my classes for the month booked, if something does come up later on, I can always cancel in advance and I will get the credit back so that I can make up the class at a later time. So even though right now I'm taking all my classes in the morning, if maybe next week I feel like canceling on Thursday and taking the class at night, I could still do that. I just need to plan ahead. And so it's just amazingly flexible. I would definitely recommend LTL to everyone who's trying to learn Chinese. Actually, one of my best friends, she's trying to learn Chinese as well. And so I already recommended LTL. She already took a couple of classes with LTL, and she also loved how flexible the system is. She's taking Flexi Classes, and even though she's currently very busy at work, she's only able to take about one class per week, but she can always find a time to make that work. And, if you're serious about your Chinese and you want to eventually go to China and study there or live there or work there, you can get started now. You don't have to wait until the borders open. You don't have to wait until you're in China to get started on your Chinese. You can start working on it today. And I guarantee that if you're taking classes online, you're going to make a lot of progress. So I definitely recommend LTL, and I definitely recommend getting started as soon as possible. So I think I'm in the same situation that a lot of international students are in right now, because I've been waiting to go to China for quite some time. And, as the pandemic kept dragging on and, the borders haven't opened yet, so I started getting disillusioned and kind of started losing hope that I would ever be able to learn Chinese. So when I first decided to take online classes, I kind of thought of it as a stopgap measure, like as something that I would do just in the meantime so that I wasn't doing nothing, right? So I didn't really have high expectations about online classes. It was just kind of something that I would do in the meantime, kind of begrudgingly, but my expectations have been blown out of the water. Like, I cannot overstate how much my Chinese has improved over the past 2 months. It's been really an amazing experience. All the teachers are great. Just being able to speak, like be forced to speak it every day or however often you're able to take classes, that's going to do wonders for your Chinese. So I definitely am very grateful for LTL, and I'm very happy that I was able to sign up for classes at LTL. So my number one advice for anyone who's interested in learning Chinese is to be consistent. Really, consistency is key. Learn from my mistakes, because I guess I started learning Chinese 8 years ago when I went to China for the first time. But after one semester of study, I just kind of fell off the wagon. And for the past 8 years, I've been studying on and off, but never quite doing a lot of progress. And for the past 3 months, when I've been studying daily basis, that's when I really started seeing progress. Because if you study only once a week, you're going to spend a lot of time relearning the things that you learned the previous week. So if you study on a daily basis, you're not going to spend as much time relearning every single word or every single character. It's just going to be fresh and you're going to be able to use it and it's going to stick. So I think, whether you have time for Hello Chinese or for Memrise or for Duolingo or whatever it is that you have time for, just make sure that you do it consistently. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference.